Hola, my collective drivers. It's me, your senorita, Sunshine to Eileen Davy. Welcome to season 2 finale of Drive with Sunshine. Today, I share my final testimony for this season, a chapter of my life that taught me the deepest truth of all. What goes around comes around. Let's hear this one more time. Let's repeat it on play mode. What goes around comes around. For 2 years, I felt like everything, when I say everything, God humbled me, was taken away from me. My beauty, my body, my youth, my career, my health, my savings, my family, my friendship, my confidence, and the most precious thing that was swept, destiny swept by me, was my inner light and my inner peace, my inner being. But what I felt like a delayed then was actually divine development in God's design. This it's my story of loss, of countless spiritual attacks, of awakening, and the moment I reclaimed my power, my energy, and my authority by sharing this testimony with you collectives. 2 years ago, my life have a total rapid change. I call it the destiny swapping. Beware out there. I woke up to find the foundations of my life had shifted. People that I trusted the most, it all started by my families, my so-called sisters, besties, friends, revealed themselves to be different than who they claim. They carry so much of heavy, toxic energies within them, such as addictions, deceitfulness, lust, temptations, emotional unavailability, narcissistic disorder traits, and demonic destructions that tries to manipulate my good essence of energy. I was always a cheergiver and a divine helper. Being the cheerleader, the one who uplifts others, nothing but just complimenting and wanting to see the best. But guess what? I would just be so selfless continuously to give, to give, to give, to give, to give. And I was just too blind to see what was the truth, what was truly hidden behind those spiritual lens. Let me expose this. Then came the scams. Mentally, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually scams from people with titles, prestige, even wearing the spiritual mask. I find myself with nothing. Moving out from my mother's home, sleeping on a rented office floor with no mattress, only a fan between four walls and windows. I believe I had failed then, but God was already at work. As an empath, a yoga, I feel deeply. I'm sensitive to the surroundings and energies, and since I have been a chosen one, since young, I began to dream prophetically. Since young, I've saw things that no one else can see. I can sense things that no one else can see. I saw my friends, my own personal friends, they have been casting spells upon me for my downfall, spiritually attacking me, handling me, my spiritual teachers, handling me crystals and candles for them to meditate with. And guess what? That night I dreamt about animal sacrification. Mirrors are breaking. I felt my head, the needles were just piercing my head, so painful. At 3 a.m. sharp, I woke up, I was trembling, and I cried out. I cried out to God, and I opened up my Bible and I read Psalm 23 and 91, and I heard this voice in my head that was my angels of rescued coming and tell me, dispose everything around your space, every item that was given to you. In the 3 days of attacks was going on continuously, I felt like I almost died. But let me just tell you that my battles was so surreal that my prayer was stronger than the darkness. God was truly teaching me that the assistance of spiritual warfare is real. And so, deliverance. I continuously fasting, I continuously just read the Bible, read the scriptures, read the words, and then here comes my ancestor, right? I heard this whispers, this ancestral deep wounds that was aggravated back then on both sides of my family, my mom and dad, but was stronger. My great-grandmother, my grandmother, she came back and said that we all have been wounded by men, have not been cherished by them. Don't you see that? You've been stepping into a repeated cycles of abusive partners, emotionally absent love, hoping kindness would heal brokenness. All, but God gave me a vision and a divine direction. He was designing me and developing me, though those drowning and violent murder spiritually moment, it woke me up. I knew the cycle had to stop with me. And so what I did, I surrendered totally to God, and I choose repentance. I choose obedience. I choose to stop all my bad habits. I choose to quit whatever bad habits I have, from addictions, from lust and temptations, from procrastinations, everything that was panting my spiritual authority. This very day, I reclaim back my boundaries. It's so important for us to have healthy boundaries among our spaces. And I realized that we have to continuously cleansing. We have to continuously just reclaiming back our authorities. That it's our godly birthright. And slowly, I began to reflect, to repeat, and to recondition myself that no weapons formed against me shall prosper. And I take back my authority, saying no more to patterns and people that profited from my divine energy, my divine light, choosing to stop being a fixer to everyone, including my family and friends, walking away from those who vowed to dim me silently, right? They laugh and smile at me in front. And I realized delays are not deniers. They are divine development. And here's where I realize what goes around, comes around, goes around, comes around. That's right. So what goes around, comes around truly leaves. I finally learned my full soul contract and lessened what I once allowed return to teach me boundaries. What I once tolerate return to teach me discernment. And what I once gave in like and truth has now begun to return to me in grace and restoration. Now, I must speak directly to all my enemies, to all my haters, to all my naysayers. Let me just tell you, I see you clearly. I know what you try. I know what you have done to condemn my path. But I choose another path. I choose to walk as God's image. I choose to walk as God's design. I choose to walk as how God has taught us to forgive. I choose that God's love and compassion and mercy and grace constantly overflows in me. Not because your actions were small, but because forgiveness, it's true freedom. Forgiveness, it's where I find freedom to be home closer to my godly identity. I will not be a victim to your darkness. I hand you to God. And most of all, I bless you. And I ask Him to heal your brokenness, your wounded heart, as He heals mine. Because what goes around comes around, but in God's timing, not mine. It's He to predict, and it's He to heal those stripes and remove away every brokenness and turn them to victory. And that's what I'm here, standing at His witness, living witness, and living testimony to share this with you. How much of what He has created wonders for me. Say this with me, my collective, Travis. Affirm this right now. I reclaim my authority. I reclaim my authority and I'm empowered by the blood of the Lamb. I choose to walk in the truth. I forgive and I am free. I trust in divine cycle. What I saw in lack will return in abundance of peace and love. My collectives, remember, delays are not punishment. Delays, they are preparation. Divine timing, it's never late. It's a source of preparation for us to stay aligned to our higher self. And with that, so I end my season 2, episode 13, Thrive with Sunshine, with utmost of forgiveness, love, compassion, mercy, grace, and the courage to rise again and stop hiding my shine that I have been authorized and given the power and authority by God to speak out my truth, to heal the cycles, not of mine, but others as well, to complete my soul contract, and also to be that shining light to show others how to complete their soul contract and step forward to be free. Thank you so much for walking with me throughout this journey. I want to say that I love you. Choose to be brave, choose to be kind, choose to set healthy boundaries, and choose to reclaim your power and authority from darkness. Because what goes around comes around, and what you give in truth and light, but always return to you multiply.